welcome back to my channel. My name's Kizzy and today I have my 5 series that I'm probably never ever going to finish. So I'm not one to ever like write off a book. I don't tend to DNF books. I tend to just put them down and not come back to them ever. But in my head I don't want to say that I'm never going to finish it. Like the Goldfinch, I stopped reading that book about 3 years ago, but I'm refusing to say that I'm never going to finish it because I really do want to finish it. It was a really good book and I did really enjoy it. Well, I didn't enjoy it. It was a very sad book and like everything just got a bit too much. So I couldn't continue reading it just because it was too sad and too overwhelming. So I do want to finish it, but I'm refusing to say that I'm not going to finish it even though it's been 3 years now. And I did get like over halfway and it's quite a big book, so I want to finish it. So these series I'm pretty sure I am never going to finish, but a few of them I could be convinced because I know they are some people's like favourite series, and one of them I'm going to put in there as like an honorary thing. So whilst I haven't read it in a long time, I really do want to finish this series. This is actually a series I do want to finish. I just never know if I'm going to get around to doing it because it's been so long now since it was published. It's not been that long, it's been like a year and a half, but it just feels like a long time. So the first one I have is one that I didn't even finish the first book. I'm not DNFing because I hate DNFing books, but yeah, I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it, and I know loads of people do, and that is The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. So this book is about, I don't even know what it's about. That's how little I got into it. I've read a few of Maggie Stiefvater's books, but again, I think I started the series and I never finished it. I think, yeah, so the Shiver series I started, but I never read the third book, just because by the time I got to that point of it being released, I was kind of past her kind of literary stage. I am much more into adult fantasy at the moment. I am struggling to find young adult fantasy that kind of holds my interest as much or has as much development in it as kind of adult fantasy tends to. So I just think I'm past Maggie Stiefvater's work, which I think is a shame because I know loads of people love her, but I wonder if it's more like a nostalgia thing that I'm kind of missing because I didn't do that nostalgia reading, or I didn't read it at a time where I can now be nostalgic for it. Don't think I'm ever going to get around to this. If I ever unhaul my books, this would probably be within that, as would most of these books actually, sadly. Except my honorary one. I do want to keep those because they hold a special place in my heart. But yeah, Raven Boys, not for me. Didn't like the writing. I found it a bit slow. Didn't really like the characters either. But that may be because I haven't finished the book. I probably need to read a little bit more of it. So this is a bit of a cheat one because the reason I don't like DNFing books is because I feel like I haven't given it a good enough chance. If you don't read the entire book, how do you know if you like the entire book? It could have an amazing ending that saves it. It could have amazing characters that haven't been introduced yet. You could be missing a whole lot. I like to have the whole kind of overview of a book before I review it or think about it. So if you do think I do need to read this and you do think it's not a nostalgia thing and it is generally a really good book with interesting characters and interesting plot, let me know and I will try and give it another go. It probably won't be a priority, but I'll hold on to the book and get to it at some point. So the next one is by a well-loved author and is a well-loved book, and that is Vicious by V.E. Schwab. So I have read all this. I have read the rest of the books that I'm going to mention. I just didn't fall in love with this. I've read 2 books by V.E. Schwab. Both of them I was so interested in reading. The evil side of this is something that I really like, and a idea that I've played around myself or want to play around with myself in future kind of book projects or writing projects that I have, where you kind of look at the evil moral side of a person and try and make it so that they're good even though they do evil stuff, or make them think that they're good, or like reveal the internal conflicts of a antagonist, anti-hero, evil person. So I went into this with big expectations. I really wanted to like it. I really wanted to like V. Schwab's work. I just didn't. It fell flat for me. I didn't like the characters. I didn't feel sympathy for them. They were just not very nice characters, and overall I think the plot was just a bit flat. I feel really bad dissing all these books because I know so many people love them, and I don't want to diss books. I don't want to dissuade people from reading them because these are all well-loved books. They just aren't loved by me. So please, if you do want to read any of these books, don't let this video put you off reading them. I like it when people disagree with me. That makes for more interesting conversation. Obviously it's nice to find someone that does like a book that you like, or dislike a book when you dislike a book. if you can persuade me to like this or show me different sides of this that I never picked up on or I didn't see or I didn't kind of interact with successfully, you're more than welcome to do that. I would love to know what I missed because that makes it more interesting. But yeah, I don't think I'm ever going to finish this series. There is 2 more books of this. One is untitled at the moment, so don't know when that's coming out. But the other one is one that I also wanted to buy just because the cover was beautiful. Like, it was a red hardback with black illustrations on it. I don't like this cover at all. I don't like it. But I couldn't find the kind of American version of it because I think that is a better cover. The other book I've read of V. Schwab is A Darker Shade of Magic, and I so wanted to love that because it sounded right up my street, and I just didn't get quite into it as much as I want to. I do want to finish the series because I do think it will get better, but that's why that's not on this list. But this, I just don't think I'm going to have the time or want to make the time to read it. Sorry. So the next book, the next book in the series for this book came out today, which I didn't realise. I thought it'd already been out because I'd seen it on social media, maybe because I follow the author on Instagram, so she's been posting a lot about it. But that is One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. So I actually did like this book. I read this in 2017. I gave it a 4 stars. I tabbed it, which I didn't even know I did in 2017. But I just think I'm past that kind of stage where I would want to make time for this. I'm not putting this as a hard no, that I'm never going to read it. I just don't think I'm going to want to pay for this book. So if it comes out in like a library or I find it in like a charity shop for like £1, I may pick it up and may read it because it is a light, fluffy, contemporary mystery book. But I am enjoying books at the moment that have a bit more grit to them, a bit more complexity, a bit more interest and characters, and kind of high school fiction, YA fiction is just not something I want to read at this moment. I might do later on, but at the moment I don't. So if you don't know, this book is about 5 children in high school. They're all from different kind of cliche things. So you've got the nerd, the jock, the beauty person, all that kind of thing, and one of them finds out all their deepest, darkest secrets, and then he dies 24 hours before he's going to release it on the internet. So it's about them kind of coming together and trying to solve it and that kind of thing, and they're trying to figure out who is lying. I can't remember the end of this book. I can't remember much else of the plot. In fact, I had to read the blurb to remember that. But it was a good book. I would enjoy it. If that's the kind of thing that you like, if you like light contemporary with a little bit of mystery in them, with kind of high school settings, then this is perfect for you. And the kind of coming together of new friendships that people wouldn't likely be friends with. Yeah, this might be for you. But I don't think it's something I'm going to continue with. The next book I have is one that I read the first 2 books in the series, mainly because I bought the first 2 books in the series straight away, which I now probably won't do again. And that is because I genuinely thought I was going to love it because everyone raved about it. It was all over Instagram. It was all over booktube. It still is because the last book in the series was released not that long ago. And that is the 3 Dark Crowns series by Kendra Blake. This is a loved favourite by a lot of people, and I don't know why. I just did not like it. Didn't like the magic in it. I didn't like any of the sisters. I didn't become invested in their story. I didn't really care when they died, if they died. The ending of this one, I believe, was a bit more dramatic, but again, I didn't fully believe it. I just didn't like it. I didn't get it. I didn't get the series. I pushed myself to read the second book, and I think that kind of caused like a little bit of a reading slump for me because I read a lot less after finishing these because I forced myself to read it. I won't be picking up the third one, that's definite. Even if someone tries to convince me, I'm sorry, I won't, because I read so many reviews on it and so many people were so passionate about it and really loved it, and I normally like the books that they recommend, but I didn't like this. I just didn't get on with it at all. Didn't sympathise with the characters. And for me, I like plot-driven stories as well, but the characters have to be someone that I want to be either friends with, to know, to get on with. I have to feel some kind of connection to that character. If I don't, then I'm not going to be interested in the story. I'm not going to be interested in the plot that they go on, because who cares what happens to them if you don't care about them? So yeah, didn't like it. Sorry, no, it's a lot of people's favourite. People raved about it. People still rave about it. No, not for me. And the last book in this thing that I'm doing is one that I know a lot of people are not going to agree with, because I just know that they're not, and I am tempted so badly to continue with this series just because I see it so often. People love it so much and I want to love it that much. And that is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This was so hyped when it came out, just as the first book, and it has continued to be hyped again and again and again each time a new book's released. Like the last books just came out at the end of last year, I believe, and people loved it. People have like multiple editions of it. There's special editions released like all the time for it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm so sorry if this is one of your favourite books. I really am. But I didn't like it. It was so overhyped, I think, for me, and I went into it thinking it was going to be amazing. It was going to be this like wonderful book that I was going to fall in love with. Wouldn't be able to wait for the next series, and whilst I think the ending did improve, I didn't like it. I didn't really like the main character. I didn't feel any sympathy for her. I didn't feel any connection towards her. She was just a bit annoying, I think, if I remember correctly. Obviously didn't like the love interest. I think it's meant to be he's the cruel prince and the like love-hate relationship thing, but I didn't like it. I didn't think it was done well. I'm not a big fan of cruel love interests because I just think that's stupid. Sorry. But because so many people love it, I really want to try it again because I want to see if I fall in love with it in the next books, if the next books improve or the next books get better character development or the romance gets better or a different light is shone on it. I just didn't think it lived up to its expectations, which was sorely disappointing, and when I finished this I had no interest in reading the next book, and I kind of only want to read the other ones because I have like FOMO. So the final book is my kind of honorary mention in this, and that is because the series is one of my favourite series. I know a lot of people dislike it because it is very basic and has quite a lot of problems within it, and I'm sure if I reread it I would see those, but they were the first fantasy book that I ever read, pretty much, or the kind of what got me into reading fantasy. I know in my newbie tag I said it was the Throne of Glass series, but actually that was the second series I read. This was the first series that I ever picked up, and that was The Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, and this got me back into reading after like a 2-3 year reading slump when I got like first started like high school. This got me back into reading. It started my journey on booktube, or not booktube but bookstagram as the youth call it. So I have a very special place in my heart for this, and I have read this, The Red Queen, Glass Sword, King's Cage, but can we just note, like, why would you do this? What is the point of this? Why make a paperback that is the size of a hardback when the other ones are the small ones? Frustration. Like, specifically because I waited, because I knew I had the other ones in paperback, so I waited for this to come out in paperback, but they released it first of all in this massive book, and then they released it again in a smaller paperback. I was just like... So yes, I have read these three, and I love these three. I gave 5 stars, 4 stars and 4 stars, I think. So I liked it. I would recommend it as an introductory into fantasy. I then went and saw Victoria Aveyard at Waterstones in Piccadilly, which is like a massive bookstore in London, which you have to go to if you ever go to and you like books, because it's like the biggest bookstore I've ever seen in my life. And I went there and I met Victoria Aveyard. I queued for about 2 hours to get her to sign this book, and she actually signed all of them. Let me see. Oh no, she didn't sign all of them. Okay, so this was my first book signing that I went to, and I didn't know you could take other books for her to sign. I thought you could only take the one that they were kind of promoting at that time. So big disappointment there. None of my other books are signed. That's so sad. But this one is signed, and it has the beautiful blue sprayed edges. It is literally a beautiful book, and there we go. There's the signing. So that's exciting. And I met her, and I totally got stage fright and was like so bit of embarrassing. I hope she doesn't remember me, which she probably doesn't, because there was like 300 people there that night. But yes, that was in 2018. It is now the beginning of 2020 and I still not read it. I don't know why. I don't know why I keep putting it off. I could not wait to read it when I finished King's Cage, and I still haven't got to it. I don't know why I keep putting it off. I don't think I'm going to pick it up anytime soon. Every time I come home for Christmas or summer, I'm like, yes, I'll read it this time. Still hasn't happened. I think it's because I didn't read it in that summer, and then I didn't read it obviously when I went away to uni, and then I didn't read it when I got back from uni, and I've been back quite a few times now and I just never took it with me. So yeah, maybe I'll do a Red Queen reread and then read this. I want to reread so many books. I don't though, because I have so many other books that I need to read first. I don't know, but this needs to be read. Don't know if I'm ever going to read it. I hope I do, but we'll see. So those are the books that I don't think I'm ever going to finish, or the series that I'm never going to finish. I hope you're not too upset, and some of you maybe agree. some of you completely disagree, which is totally fine. But yeah, I just thought I'd share with you those, because find some fellow people to talk about these books with that maybe don't agree. Because with Cruel Prince especially, I feel like I can't diss it at all because so many people love it and it is raved about so much. But let me know if you're one of those people or if you agree with me, because it would be interesting to know if there's anyone else out there that has similar opinions and who doesn't. So yeah, thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.